He came as a butcher, but gravely declared, for the ship had been sailing a week, he could only kill beaver. The bellman looked scared, was almost too frightened to speak. But at length he explained in a tremulous tone there was only one beaver on board, and that was a tame one he had of his own, whose death would be deeply deplored. The beaver, who happened to hear the remark, protested with tears in his eyes that not even the rapture of hunting the Snark could atone for that dismal surprise. It strongly advised that the butcher should be conveyed in a separate ship, but the bellman declared that would never agree with the plans he had made for the trip. Navigation was always a difficult art, though with only one ship and one bell, and he felt he must really decline for his part, undertaking another as well. The beaver's best course was, no doubt, to procure a second-hand dagger-proof coat, so the baker advised it, and next to insure its life in some office of note. This the banker suggested, and offered for hire, on moderate terms or for sale, 2 excellent policies, one against fire and one against damage from hail. Yet still, ever after that sorrowful day, whenever the butcher was by, the beaver kept looking the opposite way and appeared unaccountably shy. The end of the first fit. Fit the second, the bellman's speech. The bellman himself, they all praised to the skies. Such carriage, such ease, and such grace. Such solemnity, too. You could see that he was wise the moment one looked in his face. He had bought a large map representing the sea without the least vestige of land, and the crew were much pleased when they found it to be a map they could all understand. What's the good of Mercator's, North Poles, and equators, tropic zones and meridian lines? So the bellman would cry, and the crew would reply, they are merely conventional signs. Other maps of such shapes with their islands and capes, but we've got our brave captain to thank. So the crew would protest, but he's brought us the best, a perfect and absolute blank. This was charming, no doubt, but they shortly found out that the captain they trusted so well had only one notion for crossing the ocean, and that was to tinkle his bell. He was thoughtful and grave, but the orders he gave were enough to bewilder the crew. When he cried, steer to starboard, but keep her head larboard, what on earth was the helmsman to do? Then the bowsprit got mixed with the rudder sometimes, a thing as the bellman remarked, that frequently happens in tropical climes when a vessel is, so to speak, snarked. But the principal failing occurred in the sailing, and the bellman, perplexed and distressed, said he had hoped at least, when the wind blew due east, that the ship would not travel due west. But the danger was past. They had landed at last with their moccasins, portmanteaus, and bags. Yet at first sight the crew was not pleased with the view, which consisted of chasms and crags. The bellman perceived that their spirits were low, and repeated in musical tone some jokes he had kept for a seasonal blow, but the crew would do nothing but groan. He served out some grog with a liberal hand, and bade them sit down on the beach, and they could not but own that their captain looked grand as he stood to deliver his speech. Friends, Romans, and countrymen, lend your ear. They were all of them fond of quotations. So they drank to his health, and they gave him 3 cheers while he served out additional rations. We have sailed many months, we have sailed many weeks, 4 weeks to the month you may mark, but never as yet, 'tis your captain who speaks, have we caught the least glimpse of a Snark. We have sailed many weeks, we have sailed many days, 7 days to the week I allow, but a Snark on which you might lovingly gaze we have never beheld till now. Come, listen, my men, while I tell you again the 5 unmistakable marks by which you may know wheresoever you go, the warranted, genuine Snarks. Let us take them in order. The first is the taste, which is meager and hollow, but crisp, like a coat that is rather too tight in the waist, with a flavor of will-o'-the-wisp. Its habit of getting up late, you'll agree that it carries too far, when I say that it frequently breakfasts at 5 o'clock tea and dines on the following day. The third is its slowness in taking a jest. Should you happen to venture on one, you will sigh like a thing that is deeply distressed, and always look grave at a pun. The fourth is its fondness for bathing machines, which it constantly carries about. and believes that they add to the beauty of scenes, a sentiment open to doubt. The fifth is ambition. It next will be right to describe each particular batch, distinguishing those that have fed this invite from those that have whiskers and scratch. For although common snarks do no manner of harm, yet I feel it my duty to say some are bojums. The bellman broke off in alarm, for the baker had fainted away. End of Fit 2.